Hello everyone, welcome back in this episode of Bitcoin in Real Life. Um, a little side note here, something that has happened and I think it's worth uh, at least talking about. And has it affect Bitcoin's value, or will it affect Bitcoin's value? Um, there's a lot of talk that it might, or that um, you know, problems in the cryptocurrency space are somewhat interrelated. Um, I like to just talk about that a little bit. I'm in Toronto, by the way, my summer trip. I have another video that I'm kind of making that I'll put out later when I finish. But some recent news happened. I don't know if anybody knows, but it's worth documenting that the in my previous video. Hold on here. In my previous video, I mentioned the DUA, which I pronounced as DOA, which, if you know what happened, it sounds fitting because DOA also stands for dead on arrival. But the DAO, the DOE, I guess I'll call it by its proper wording, the DOE, the DAO, was, I wouldn't say hacked or anything. I wouldn't say hacked per se. The thing about software and machines and you know computers is they're really not very smart at all. I would even argue that computers, machines, and software, the programming aspect of it, are really stupid. All right, and the reason I say that is because if I program something, I'm not a programmer, by the way. It's been a long time since I've written any code. But if I did write some code and I told a computer to self-destruct, this machine, this computer, will literally self-destruct itself. It will destroy itself. And if I told somebody, a person, to do that, if I told someone to destroy yourself, which is possible, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is possible to program a person to self-destruct. But people are stupid as well, okay? It will do it. But a machine, a computer, a program will execute as I tell it to do, because they're stupid. And they're definitely not autonomous, and they're definitely not organized. Decentralized, maybe. Autonomous, no. Not autonomous, definitely not organized. So, anyways, that's the problem with software, computers, and machines, is they're not very smart at all. They're very stupid. They're very dumb. Like I said, if you program something, a machine doesn't do anything. It's really the person behind it who is the mastermind. And so what happened to the DAO with the I don't know how many ethers, a billion ethers or whatever, being moved without any voting going on there. Kind of interesting. I did mention in a previous video that anything new is susceptible to flaws. I would say flaws, mistakes, and it's just not the DAO itself. It's other things as well. Look at all the product defects. Look at all the recalls on cars. Look at all the recalls on, just you name it. Everything that is produced or made is not perfect. It can, be improved to meet, safety standards, or improved to be resistant to failure and such, or abuse. But it's not perfect, especially not the alpha, or the beta. It really needs to go through a lot of trial and error, growing pains, and unfortunately at the expense of you using it. So and that's the only way it's going to improve. Anyways, I've been hearing a lot of things, I've been reading a lot of things, I've been watching a lot of videos on this, and I have to tell you, what concerns me the most, or I don't know if it concerns me the most, but I don't know if any of you all ever seen the movie, Highlander, back in the 80s, maybe early 90s. But the whole point was that there can only be one. And it's not like we all want to destroy each other. But you have to come to a realization that, it's a process in which the strongest survive. I didn't make this up. I didn't design it this way. If it was up to me, we would all get that first place ribbon. If it was up to me, we would all, be winners. We would all live forever. We would all, be immortal. But to assist the weak hinders evolution. And this is a process of evolution here, in which the strong survive. And being strong doesn't mean being brave all the time. It doesn't mean being honest all the time. It doesn't mean the things that you think it means. It means surviving, so that whatever it is may live on and continue. And so when I heard about the situation at the DAO, and then all this talk about hard forking, soft forking, holding trading, all this nonsense in a market that's supposed to be a free market, a little disturbing. Seems like we're going backwards. this whole idea that if the Dow fails and Ether fails, Bitcoin will fail. I just don't accept that at all. I just don't believe it. When I hear things like that, like one coin is dependent on another coin, and if this coin fails and this coin, the other coin will fail, and all this, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. And that somehow, these different platforms are dependent on each other is, I believe, not very true at all. It's almost like the old world saying to the new world that we can all coexist. The old world can coexist with the new world. And I've already said that the old world cannot, will not, will never coexist with the new world. One must die for the other to live. And when I hear that, if this fails and this fails, then Bitcoin will fail, I don't buy that at all. It's like the old world saying, and I've seen this. The old world has been doing this lately. That they can coexist. The old world can coexist with the new world, and it's okay. We can all coexist happily together. I'm gonna just stop this nonsense right away and tell you this will never happen. And so when I hear that if Dow fails and if Ether or Ethereum fails, Bitcoin will fail. That is not true in my opinion. And my honest opinion is, and this is just my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, okay? But my opinion in this matter is that there can only be one. Alright, we can be friends while we're fighting up to that point. We could be buddies, we could share in the happiness of victory, cry in the sadness of defeat. But in the end, we all know, at least I know, that there can only be one. And so, there's a lot of capitulation going on here. And like I said, it's like when I hear the old world moving into the blockchain, industry, that's capitulation. All right, and let's hear, if y'all want to know what capitulation is, let's take a look. Capitulation, the action of surrendering or ceasing to resist an opponent or demand, an agreement or set of conditions. Investor terms, it means capitulation is when investors give up any previous gains in stock price by selling equities in an effort to get out of the market and into less risky investments. True capitulation involves extremely high volume and sharp declines and is usually indicated by panic selling. So, which takes me to this. Let me see here. What's going on here? Yeah, it's refreshing. Oh, stop. So it kind of takes me to something, what you see here. I mean, that is panic selling. I don't think it's really much to do with, maybe it has to do with the Dow being all those ether coins in DAO being moved around without any voting or consensus or curators or whatever. But I think what really is panic selling. This is a ether to US dollar chart on Bitphoenix. That's capitulation right there. And I think it's not because of the ethers being moved within the DAO, but the fact that they're talking about a hard fork. They're talking about bailing out investors of the DAO. So basically, y'all took if that was to happen, you all just had a free lunch. In which, where did that free lunch come from? It has to come from somewhere. It just doesn't materialize from nowhere. There's work, there's effort, there's time involved. Anyways, I think that's what's capitulating. But not only in that capitulation, but also the action of surrendering or ceasing to resist an opponent or demand. And so there's a lot of that going on. The old world is moving into the blockchain industry, right? Mentioned a lot of that with R3, or receive the mark of the beast. All these industries jumping on blockchain. Capitulation. So here's the thing that this is my opinion, and the reason why I'm making this video is I have no doubt. I already know who's the winner. And that's how strong you have to be. That's how hard you have to work. And that's definitely how you have to live, knowing that you've already won. That no matter what comes your way, no matter what hardship, what failure, what setback, you're not going to back down. You won't back down, because you know you've already won, because there can only be one. So, and there's a lot of grief going on as well, and I'll go through the 5 stages of grief. Here you go. The 5 stages: denial, anger. I think right now we're at a bargaining. Soon after, depression. I just think if you just go through those people who are Ethereans, if you want to survive and fight another day, you're just going to have to accept what happened. And if you really believe that you're the one, then you've already won. This little hiccup is just that, a little hiccup. But you have to be strong, and there can be no doubt in your mind, and that you won't back down. But that also means that you have to accept any losses. You have to accept all the setbacks. and keep going, because that's what I did with Bitcoin. Because I know. I already know. I already know that, well, at least for me, which one is going to survive, which one's the strongest, which one will make it to the end, to the finish line. And I already know, and I live my life knowing that. So every day when I wake up, I say to myself, what can I do right now? What can I do today without any doubt? I won't back down. So follow your heart. And let luck be a lady tonight. Anyways, let's go back to this thing here. That's what happened today. Basically, the Tao, or what I've been calling it, the Dua, or the Dough, which hasn't even done anything yet, already having problems. In my honest opinion, something that hasn't even started yet already having a major flaw like this is not it's not a very good start. It's a horrible start, and I didn't do any of this. I was not involved in any of this. So I know I made a previous video talking about this, not it being hacked, but being attacked. Will you stand by what you strongly believe? If you really believe this is the one, you'll just stand up and keep going. There's no recall. There's no bailout. There's no reimbursing coins that are no longer there. That'd be a step backwards, a major step backwards. And the only reason why the Tao, the Dua, the Dough will survive is because how strong your constitution is. If you have a strong constitution, you will survive almost anything. So, anyways, will this affect Bitcoin? No. I don't think it will, because many will come and many will die, and many have died, and yet Bitcoin still exists, still going, still adding on to the blockchain. So if Ethereum dies, I don't think it's going to affect Bitcoin in any way. If the Dua, the Dua, DAO, Dough fails, it's not going to affect Bitcoin. It's just another one bites the dust. Look at all the exchanges that Bitcoin exchanges and Bitcoin companies and whatever, all these Bitcoin things that have died, but yet Bitcoin itself still exists, still there for me anyway, always there waiting for me to come back, always there when I need it, always there when I don't need it. So why would I ever leave it? Why would I ever leave something that's always been there for me? I wouldn't. Anyways, my message to all those Ethereans out there is, because I know what it's like. I've experienced Mt. Gox. Have you ever seen my Bitcoin trade episode? That's when I first started involved in Bitcoin, and that was a big blow to me. When I first got scammed, big blow to me. I'm going through some of these with other things that I've done with Bitcoin. But one thing I've realized is if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And to rise above all the others and the obstacles and hurdles and sabotage sometime and deceit and lies. To rise above that and beyond, it's, for me anyway, with Bitcoin is what's going to make. That's how I know. That's how I know I've already won. Before the battle starts, before the fight begins, I already know I won. And that's how you have to believe. That's how you have to think. That's how you have to believe that you've already won. And that's the difference between winning and losing. Seems harsh, and it is, but you have to come to some realization or some acceptance of what needs to be done. So anyways, I don't think any of this will affect Bitcoin. Bitcoin will still keep going no matter what. I'll still keep trading. I'll still keep building the new world, and I'm not going to stop until it happens. I'll never stop. I won't back down. So anyways, feel free to like, dislike, leave a video response, leave a comment or a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.